Hey, welcome back. Good to see you all again. Hope you're all well. Thanks for joining the channel. Today on the bench I have a Sony. What is this called? It's called the BlueRay Disc DVD Home Theater System. It's a BDV-E2100. Now this is my brother-in-law's. He asked if I could fix this for him. I guess it stopped ejecting the disc tray. It stopped. He couldn't unload his disc, and he asked if I could do it. Normally I don't take on this kind of stuff, but since he's a brother-in-law and he's going to get some gold class service, that's for sure. So, what is this thing? It's an all-in-one unit. It's all run from a remote, but it's got a few buttons on top. It has 6 speaker outputs, front, right and left, subwoofer, center, and surround left and right. Fan. It has a digital optical in, a LAN connection, HDMI output. It looks like it has audio in, left and right. So feeding its auxiliary. It has an input for an FM antenna. So it does have an FM tuner in it. Not much for output signals other than your HDMI, but you are able to feed in an audio signal, analog audio signal. So let's pull the top off and let's see what we can do for this tray that's not opening. What's the date on this thing? Here's a sticker. Made in Malaysia. Doesn't have a date. No date. Okay, well, let's... Okay, I believe I have all the screws out. Should be good. Yeah. Quite a bit of dust on that fan. Quite a bit of dust on that fan. I'm going to take that and blow that out. So here's our Blu-ray drive, manufactured October 2015. So there's a date there. BPX-7, that's our Blu-ray drive, and this is our drive controller board. This board probably handles all of our video, audio, switching, and selection of inputs. Here's our power supply. We have to watch because there's high voltage here on this side. Where's our cutoff line? Right here. It's our cutoff line. So everything on this side will be high voltage mains powered, and then this side will be our low voltage. Looks like we got a Class D amplifier here, 6 channels, 6 channels or 4 channels. I see 8 inductors, so, but there's only 6 outputs. So 8 inductors, 6 outputs, 6 channels, 2 chips. Very interesting. So, what do we need to do here? Let's get the first thing we're going to do is we're going to blow the dust out of this because it's kind of a mess inside. So bear with me. All right, you got the dust blowed out of it. Now it's a lot easier, nicer to work on. It's spinning up the disc. I don't see any display on this. I don't know if it has a display. Might be all on screen. Let's try eject. Shut down. Okay, turn it on. Eject. You can hear it like it tries to 20 watts. 21, 22, stop. Does not want to eject. Shut it down. Okay, eject. Okay. Okay, it's not coming out, so let's take that drive out. As far as I can tell, 4 catches on the bottom. Screwdriver here. 1, 2, 3. It's holding this in. I think the tray might be holding it because it's not sliding forward. Ah, okay, there's some here. Here's 1, 2, 3. Yeah, this is what I thought. One, 2, 3. That should be it. And the tray door is holding it. So let's remove the drive. Let's see here. I got 1, 2, 3 ribbon cables to pull off. This one here will lift up. Let me reposition the camera. So we got 3 ribbon cables here. This one has a black look keeper, so you have to lift this keeper up on both sides to unlock it. There we go. And then this one just pops out. These other 2 are just pushed in. So you pull on this one and pull on this one. And that's all 3. Okay, we got 4 screws to remove. So we'll do that. One. It's not ideal the way I'm doing this. It latched into place again. There. Okay, that gives me some room. Okay, it should pop off now if I can undo the latches one more time. They just seem to magically latch again. There we go. And then we have this is why I don't like working on these things, because they're so frustrating. Okay, latch here and latch here. There we go. Now we can see how it's connected. I really hate the way they do this. When they do this on DVD players, the tray door keeps everything from being removed. I wish they would just figure out that the tray door needs to be removable from the outside. How does this connect? There we go. What a pain in the ass. Okay. Alright. So there is a little window here, and there is a display. I didn't see it lit up though. It's kind of odd. Let's pull this back this way. Okay. So our tray loading motor is here, and this will be the mechanism. There probably is a belt right here that's either broken or slipping. So let's put this aside. Let's look at this. Alright, let's see if we can open this up and figure out why it's not, the tray's not coming out. I don't see any method. If I pull on it, it doesn't do anything. So there's a motor, belt and pulley to a gear, runs a larger gear, which runs on a rack here, I'm assuming. But you know what? I think I could just remove the lid by undoing these catches. 1, 2. 3, 4. There we go. Nothing at the back. Okay, so we can take this off. Here's the disc that was stuck in it. Put that aside. And how do we open this? Definitely stuck. Let's put a little voltage on this motor and get it to move for us. So let me get the power supply. Okay, so normally I wouldn't recommend doing this because it could damage circuitry, but we have this cable here unplugged. This 4-pin, 5-pin cable. And that runs back to the motherboard. And there's no active circuitry here. There's a switch, a motor, and that's it, and it all runs back. So this is all open circuit on this side. So we can inject voltage here and get this motor to spin, get the tray to open. So I have here, I have 7.5 volts. Let's try it out. You heard the motor spin. Let's hold this up so it. Okay, let's try this again. Here it's spinning. It does not. There we go. Yeah, it seems like it was jammed. Look at all the dust and stuff in here. So I think maybe it was just jammed with dust. Look at, there's dust here on the rails, on the slides, on this side too. It seems to be all caked with dust. So let's. Actually, the belt looks fine. I think it was just jammed. So let's blow the dust out of this thing. Yeah, look at the dust on this side. On the sled. Dust. Everything is covered with a nice healthy layer of dust. So let's blow all this out. Let's re-lubricate some of this, and we'll get this running free again. I think it was just stuck. It doesn't seem to want to slide very free. I'm going to take the belt off. Yeah, it's definitely stuck on that one side. Okay, I'll be right back. I'll blow it all out. Okay, I'm back, and that looks a lot better. It looks a lot better. Still have and clean this gear out. It's pretty. Yeah, we'll do that. But this looks a lot better here. All this is now more dust free. Still a little bit here and there. That's the problem when you have a fan that's either blowing or sucking air through the chassis. Is you're going to get, there's a hair stuck to something. And you really got to think. I wanted to grease this up, but I don't think it's a good idea with all of the dust that's getting pulled through this. So let's see here. This here, yeah, that's all black lint and dust stuck to the grease. Clean all this out. Like I say, I don't know if it's a good idea to lubricate these rails. I think we will. Just on the inside of this, it's like a U-shaped channel, and you can see where it's been rubbing here. And that rides on these two nibs. There's a nib here and a nib here. And that's the slide inside here. So we'll lubricate this part so it slides good. Because there's a nib here, here, and here. And that basically holds the tray in position when it goes in and out. Clean all this other crap out of here. Let's get this sorted. Let's get this pulley out of the way first. Oh yeah, that's all filthy with trash and grease and dirt. So we'll clean that. We'll clean everything else here that is attracting the dust. Let's see if I can get this out of the way. Pull this out. We'll do the same with this. This is another one. All the crap that gets caught up in those cogs. And this is what causes it to stick and not want to. And it's all its little balls of lint, and just clean them out like this. This is working. Look at that. Look at that crap. It's all lint. Okay, let me finish this. Okay, that's a lot better. This one is the same. It's all lint packed into the teeth. Wow, look at this stuff. It's like grease mixed with dirt, mixed with lint. And it's packed in there too, like this is probably our cause of why the tray doesn't want to move. Okay. Yuck. And we have a lot here too. A big ball of fuzzy lint. Alright, let's clean this out. Clean all that crap out of there. And let's put this one back and clean it better too. I'm going to get a brush here. Got a brass brush. Okay, that's doing it. It's just taking out the little bits that I missed. But it's also depositing something else, so we're going to leave that alone. Clean this. Okay, let's give it some brand new lube. this in here. Okay. Now they're cleaning. More lint here. It just sticks to everything. The grease is what's binding it to the... Okay. Okay. Let's clean this. Dirty old grease. Okay, I think that's good. Let's put some grease on the gears. Okay, let's add a little grease too. Clean this off. Add a little grease inside for the bearing. Put this back. Okay, that is working 100% better. This belt is okay. Actually needs a clean. Let me clean this with alcohol and then I'll put it back in. Alright, so I got this belt cleaned. A little bit of stuff come off it, not much. But we'll just put this on now. Yeah, my brother-in-law's had a rough go this last few years. He's had a lot of health issues. He had a bad infection that almost took his life on his arm. And he's got other health problems too, like diabetes and whatnot. But yeah, so he asked if he could look at this. I said, no problem. Just to get him back on track. So, I think that is flowing really good. And let's have a look at the lens. There's a little bit of a dust off. That should do. Tray. So we have to, I want to put some lubrication in here. I don't want it to collect dust, that's what. So I'm just going to go with the smallest amount. So yeah, since he's had all these health problems, he hasn't been able to work. And that's really a bummer too. Okay, so that should be good. We have dust here. It looks like something was stuck there, but it's just the way the plastic is. Okay, so let's put this back in. There we go. Okay. So let's go back to testing with power. Sounds good. Okay, sounds good. Tray comes up, everything's good. So let's snap the cover back on. See, even the lid has dust in it. Okay. All right, I think we're ready to put it back in and try it out. Okay, before I reinstall this, I want to see how this door clips on. This is the bottom, and the Blu-ray disc text goes down. So I think it just snaps in. Let's see here. How does this thing attach? It's not revealing itself. Let me look at this closer. Okay, if you're like me, you just pulled off the outside door of the tray, but there's actually another piece here, actually two pieces, and to put it back together, all you have to do is remove. This is if it actually came apart the same way it did here. Actually, pull this metal spring out. Here's a metal spring, pull that out, and then let me see here if I can get zoomed in a bit. Try to remove this door, and the way there's a catch here, here, and here. And you want to release these catches by going this way, and then you want to push the piece down to unlatch it. And you can actually just peel it back like this, and it just disconnects and it comes off. Okay, so now we can put this back together. Now we got a hook here and a hook here, and that goes into this hook here and this hook here, and they kind of hook on each other like that. You see this? I hope you can. Okay, you line them up like that. You see how it's lined up? Got the hook, two hooks mating here and the two hooks mating here, and just kind of really lightly push this hook back and drop it into position. There, just like that. And then do the same on the other side. Just pull this inside hook back and just push them together. There. Okay, now the spring. Easiest way I found is there's a loop here. You can see this loop. There's a loop there. Can you see that? I don't know. And there's one here. So you go through the first loop with your spring and then go up, and this is where you need a little help. You're going to need to go up and over this hump here, okay, and then down again and back through the other hoop. And then once the spring clicks in there, it shouldn't move around, and it provides a little bit of a, takes up the slack between the two. Alright, Blu-ray disc to the way up, tray up, and 1, 2, 3, well, these are the two hooks. This one hooks in the middle, and you can see this. Put it together like that and just push it down, and it's on. So sometimes they're pretty tricky. This one was kind of tricky too, but now I should have had that off because this, well, maybe it will fit through here. Yeah, it does. Okay. So let's tie this down. Screwdriver. I just saw something here. This at the back is not clipped down. You see that? That was supposed to be on these corners. Might have to take this lid off again. Yeah, I'm gonna have to take this lid off because I didn't assemble it properly. So let's do that one more time. I think I have to hook the back in first, which I didn't do. All these little traps for the new players, especially me. Okay. So we got a catch here, and then there's catches on these corners. They have to go back and slide into place like that. Slide this in. It's closed, and then snap it in. Okay, good. Okay. Now notice here I got this pinched. This cable is pinched, so I got to remove that, and I squashed that cable. That cable looks like a ground cable. No, actually this is for the switch. So just one single wire. So we're okay. If it was multiple wires in that, it would have been crushed and no good. So let's pay attention to that. It's secure. Let's connect our cables. I think this one goes first. The smaller one. So you can use the blue part as a handle. That's what it's there for. There's your contacts on this side. So keep those clean, and then just shove it in. There's a line here, a black line, and you shove it in until that line is flush with the top of the connector. Okay, and then where does this one go? They should fall back to their natural position. This one didn't. This one goes up here. Must be flipped over or something. Anyways. Same thing, black line. Contacts on this side meet up with the contacts on this side. If you put it in backwards, it'll fit in, but it won't make any contact. The blue part will be up against the contacts. So that's how you know you got it the right way. So contacts facing contacts, and then put it in straight and push it home. And black line is down. Can't see it, it's good. This one's a little different. You have a lock, so you make sure the lock is up. Now here, let's do this first. Let's put it in. And just put downward pressure and then just come lift the lock. And you'll feel it drop in. With the pressure still on, you press the locking bar down, and that will lock it in. You can pull on it, it won't come out. Alright, check the seating of the other 3 or 4 here. One thing that I didn't see when I took the front off is this near field communications. It's a little chip with an antenna. So that goes on here. Press it in up to the black line. Good. Just dangle this so it doesn't short out. Okay. Alright, now I think we're at the point where we can do a test to see if the tray moves on its own now. I think it will. Plugged it in. We've got 4 watts. Okay, we do have a display, but it's quite dim. Maybe you can see that. Does that show up? Yeah, it says hello. Alright, so I think this one is eject, yes. And it just shut down. Eject. There we go. Open, close, read, open. Let's try disk. Close. Home. That's quite dim. And there's the time. Eject. Perfect. Result. Well, we're in here. Might as well have a look at some caps. So these are the 2 main filter caps. They're 120 microfarad at 400 volts. And they are wired in parallel with each other. So 240 microfarad. These are the ones that are going to pack a wallop if you plug it in and these charge up and you don't test them before you start working on it. These ones can give you a good wake-up call. So always test them with a voltmeter before you go, and before you measure them, always short them out because they can build up a charge again even if they've been fully discharged just from the electrolyte. So we got our low ohms meter. Let's zero this. Let's see what we got here. So 1/4 of an ohm for both of them. That's not bad. 1/2 an ohm each. What's this one? 1.1. That's a 4.7 at 50 volts. That's fine. 0.38. That's fine. 0.36. That's fine. There's one back here. 1/2 an ohm. That is a 22 at 63. 22 at 63 should be 1.5 ohms or less, and that's really good. Here's the main bulk capacitor. It's 1800 microfarad, 63 volts. I'm just going to short it out here. And let's see what we get. 10 milliohms. It's perfect. Let's see here. There's 2 here, and they're wired in parallel. And 0.0, 20 or 30 milliohms. So that's pretty good for those. Those are 680s. I think all the caps are good on this. Nothing really to talk about. These are your outputs. You have plus 12, plus 12, plus 12. Ground, ground, ground. PVDD, continuous. That might be power, continuous power rating for the infrared sensor for the remote. And then EN power. I don't know what that is. Here's our power for the power amplifier. Plus 54 volts and 27 volts and ground, ground. Connector 4 doesn't say what's on it. And our power in. Everything's good. Put it back. the screws with the ground tab on them. Make sure they're secure, because they're obviously doing an electrical connection to the chassis. And there is 1, 2, 3, 4 of them. This one doesn't have it. As long as I didn't trap that in there. Okay. Now plug this in. Plug this in. This here is, don't know, I think it goes to the other board. And then our BlueRay power. There we go. What I'm going to do is I'm going to clean the vacuum fluorescent display and the window, and then put it all back together. So what I did is I put it all together and I tested it, and this display wasn't working, and it would come on at random times, and it wasn't it wasn't consistent. So I had a feeling we have cracked solders on this vacuum fluorescent display. And it's a common fault too for vacuum fluorescent displays, because they're actually like a vacuum tube, and they have a filament inside. You can't really see it. It's really, well, these ones are kind of built a little different. The older ones have the filament up front. But that's a filament that's heated with a current, and it glows very slightly. You can't really see it, but it creates heat, and then eventually these pins on the outside, they crack. And if I have a look here, oh yeah, they're cracked already. I can see it from here. Let's have a zoom in and I'll show you where these cracks are, and then we'll fix them up, and we'll get this working again. So typically how this works is you have 2 on the end here. This is your heater element, and then this will be your heater element. Now the reason they put 2 on each end is because they know that one of them is going to crack eventually, and that just gives it a little bit more time to work before it completely fails. These other ones in the middle here, these are the individual segments, and from this it looks like there's only, there's a 3, 6, 9, 10, 11. There's only 11 or so wires going into the vacuum fluorescent display, but we have 6 digits, and we got all these other indicators, and we have alphanumeric. So I have a feeling there's a chip in here that's doing all the decoding of the signals and driving the display, and they're probably sending binary information here on these 11 pins. Probably one's power, one's ground, and then there's probably 8 bits of data going in. So yeah, that's what I think is going on here. But they have these 2 pins on this side, 2 pins on this side. This is your filaments. So if we look at the other side of the board, I don't know if you can see this. Try and zoom it in. Well, I think you should get the microscope out maybe. Okay, come on. There we go. So we have 2 connections here, and these connections look okay. But if I go to this side, you can see these connections are cracked. Can you see that? See the ring around those 2? I know it's not ideal, but let's heat up the iron and resolder this. This is the reason why the display is going on and off, because these 2 are cracked and separated from the board. Yeah, they completely I don't know if you can see that. If I push down on it, they really pop out. There we go. They totally disconnected. So that's going to give us a random display at random times. So let's solder that back up and we'll get that fixed. And it wouldn't hurt to look at the rest of the connections while I'm in here. Here's the connector. Everything looks good. Those two are cracked. Those are all okay. I'll resolder them anyway. And these two on this end are fine. Okay. All right, let's reflow these. Okay, those are good. And redo this one as well. It doesn't look. I'm going to redo some of these as well. Should have got my smaller iron out. Part of the problem is the lead-free solder. Oops, got a bridge there. Some of the lead-free solders are not good for this. There we go. Sometimes just touching it up with a bit of leaded solder can help in giving it a longer life. So basically anytime you see a vacuum fluorescent display, have an inspection of its soldered connections because good chance it might be cracked. Alright, so this is done. I don't think there's anything else to do. No, it looks good. Okay, we'll put that in and it should work. Alright, so I got it connected to a screen. I got a final test here just to check, make sure everything's working 100%. I'll try the Blu-ray first. Should spin up and start playing. There we go. All right. What is it doing? And I don't have the remote for this, so volume up and down works. Okay, I can't stop. Let's eject that. Let's try the DVD. Okay. It's counting up, but it's not playing. I have to assume it's working because it is reading the disc and it's going through the motions. I just don't have the remote to start it. So, result. Alright, so I'm going to get this back to my brother-in-law, and I'm sure he'll enjoy his continued movie viewing days. Alright, talk to you later. Thanks for watching. See you on the next one.